Know what I see at the range every Saturday? Guys my age doing the Popeye squint. One eye squeezed shut, the other one straining like they're reading the fine print on a prescription bottle. They think they're aiming, but they're not. They're training the brain to fail when it matters most. Hi, I'm Dave with Everyday Gun Owner. I'm a husband, a brother, and a son. I've spent 30 years in the firearms world and 12 years as an Army warrant officer. But honestly, none of that matters if I cannot protect my family. I don't want to wake up in a prison cell because I made a bad choice, and I definitely don't want to fail my family because my gear didn't work. We exist to help you fix the physical roadblocks, the eyes, hands, and back pain that force older gun owners to leave their weapons at home, or they struggle to defend their families at home. Now, here's the hard truth. Closing one eye on the range trains you to shut down your vision when somebody kicks in your door at 2 a.m. Let's talk about what happens when you close one eye to aim. You lose half your visual field. Research shows that closing one eye reduces your functional field of view by 20 to 30%, and that's on a calm day. Your brain stops processing information from that side. You lose depth perception because binocular vision is how your brain judges distance. And you narrow your focus down to a tunnel. Now add stress to that. Now, the FBI did a study on officer-involved shootings and what happens to your vision under a threat. Your pupils constrict, adrenaline dumps cortisol into your bloodstream. Your peripheral vision collapses naturally. Officers report seeing nothing but the threat. They don't see backup arriving. They don't see bystanders. They see a tunnel. This is tunnel vision. The tunnel gets smaller as the threat gets worse. So if stress already steals your peripheral vision, why would you train to make it worse? Why would you close one eye and narrow that tunnel even more? Because nobody told you the truth. The gun industry sold you on precision when you need speed and awareness. When you close your non-dominant eye, you eliminate stereopsis. That's the fancy word for how your brain uses both eyes to judge distance and space. Your dominant eye feeds your brain a flat image. You can still hit a paper target at 15 yards because it's not moving and you have time to verify your sight picture. But put a moving threat in front of you, add bad lighting, you have to ask yourself this: do you trust a flat image to tell you, is that guy 5 feet away or 8, 3 yards or 7? Having both eyes open gives your brain the information it needs to judge depth and space. It processes shadows, relative size. Your brain uses how things shift when you move to judge distance. When you close one eye, you're essentially turning off half your internal computer. Now, here's what kind of scares me. Not the guy breaking into my house. I can handle that. What scares me is the thought of firing my weapon and missing critical information because I trained wrong for 20 years. What if my wife is moving in the background and I don't see her because I'm squinting like Clint Eastwood? What if there's a second threat coming from my weak side and I miss him because I shut down that eye to get a clean sight picture, You want to be precise, I get it, but precision is worthless if you're blind to everything except your front sight. This isn't about ego. It's about the weight of knowing you had one chance to protect your family and you trained yourself to fail. Being a protector means you think past the gun. You think about the courtroom. You think about living with the choice you made at 2 a.m. when your hands were shaking and your heart was pounding. If you shoot somebody because you didn't see the knife drop from their hand, the prosecutor will ask, why didn't you see that? If you fire into a room and hit somebody behind your target because you couldn't judge distance, your lawyer won't be able to help you. Closing one eye might feel like focus, but it's actually blindness dressed up as marksmanship. Being good steward of our firearms mean you use every tool God gave you, and that includes both eyes. Now, if you think squinting makes you a better shot, you train for the wrong fight. Skeptics will say, well, I've always shot with one eye closed. It works fine for me. My groups are tight. I can't see the sights clearly with both eyes open because I wear progressives. Okay, I hear you. These are progressives. I wear them too. Your groups are tight on a static range where you have all the time in the world and nothing is trying to attack you or your family. But here's what skeptics don't understand. Shooting paper is not the same as stopping a threat. On the range, you have perfect lighting or good lighting, no adrenaline, target that typically doesn't move, and in your hallway at night, you have none of that, the complete opposite. Now, you may have heard of this guy, Colonel Jeff Cooper, the guy who basically wrote the book on our modern pistol craft, taught both eyes open for defensive shooting. Why? Because he understood the difference between precision target shooting and combat accuracy. Combat accuracy means you hit center mass while maintaining that situational awareness, what's around you. You don't get bonus points for a perfect sight picture if you're dead because you didn't see the second guy coming. And let's address the progressive lens problem because I wear them too. Yes, it's harder to get a clean sight picture with both eyes open when you're looking through the wrong part of your lenses. But here's the thing, you don't need a perfect sight picture. You need what I call a flash sight picture. That's good enough to put rounds on target while keeping your head up and your eyes scanning. I'll teach you 3 ways to do that in a minute. But first, understand this. If you can't see your sights clearly with both eyes open, the answer is not to close one eye. The answer is to change how you focus. So how do you retrain your brain? 3 focus styles that work with aging eyes. Now, option 1 is what I call target focus. It's also called point shooting or defensive shooting. It works especially well if you're running a red dot. You look at the threat, not the dot, not the sights. You're looking at the threat. Your brain superimposes the dot or the sight picture over the target. It's blurry. That's fine. We're not punching holes in paper. You're stopping a threat at 7-10 yards in bad lighting. Blurry is good enough. Now, we do have a video on that in detail if you're interested. You can find that here, and you'll find the link for it in the description. Option 2 is what I spoke about earlier, the flash sight picture. You bring the gun up, you see the sights in your peripheral vision, you verify they're roughly aligned with the target, and you pull the trigger. Press the trigger, pull the trigger. This takes practice, but it's faster than perfect sight alignment and keeps both eyes open. Your brain learns to accept good enough instead of perfect. Now, option 3, the squint, but not the one you're thinking about. If you absolutely cannot get a usable sight picture with both eyes open because of double vision or severe cross-eye dominant like I have, you don't close your non-dominant eye completely. You squint it. You half close it. Just enough to reduce the competing image, but not enough to shut down your peripheral vision entirely. This is a compromise, and it's better than going full-on Popeye squint. Now here's the drill you can do at home with no ammo and without a trip to the range. You can put a piece of Scotch tape over your shooting glasses or your non-dominant eye. Not black tape, we're looking at translucent. You can also use chapstick or Vaseline jelly too. They wipe right off. You can still see light and movement through it, but the image is blurred enough that your brain stops trying to use it for fine detail. Now, dry fire with both eyes open. Your brain will start to suppress the blurry eye naturally and rely on that dominant eye for the sight picture, but you'll keep your peripheral awareness in that non-dominant eye. You can do this for 5 minutes a day for a couple of weeks, and eventually your brain will rewire itself. It'll stop fighting you when you try to aim with both eyes open. And most important, make sure your firearm is unloaded and there's no live ammo in the area when you do this. Safety is first. I want to point out you don't have a vision problem. You have a training problem. Training problems can be fixed if you're willing to do the work. Now, I want to ask you some questions and think about these. You don't have to answer in the comments. You can, but think about these. When was the last time you dry fired with both eyes open in the lighting conditions you actually face in your home? If somebody breaks into your house tonight, will you instinctively close one eye because that's how you trained? Or will you keep both eyes open because you retrained your brain? And are you willing to punch paper and train to protect your family? Now, in the next video, we're sitting down for a real conversation about using pistol caliber carbines, PCCs, for home defense. I know a lot of people use their trusty ARs, or a lot of people say shotguns rule the home defense world, but I think that's bad advice and very dangerous thinking. Be here next week and I will tell you why. If your eyesight feels unreliable lately, stop guessing and you can get our 15-minute aging eye reality check. This isn't another gear review or training drill. It's a structured self-assessment that shows you exactly what your eyes can actually see today with your current gun, in your current glasses, in your current lightings. In 15 minutes, you'll know whether your sights are clear enough to be responsible, if fatigue is stealing your clarity after a few repetitions, whether low light turns your setup into a liability, and what to change first before you waste money on gear that probably won't fix the real problem. There's no range trip, no ammo. It's just honest answers about what you can see and what you need to fix. It's a low-cost solution, so you'll stop second-guessing your vision and start making decisions based on evidence. You'll find the link in the description below.